got some Star Wars lore. All I got to say is give me more. What do we mean by that? Well, here today, we're going to answer that on Two Geeks and a Microphone. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Two Geeks and a Microphone. I am your half-awake co-host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only, our other fellow co-host alumni, Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in geekdom land, and I'm the other half of of that sleepiness. Although I'm a little bit more awake than you, I think. I've been awake longer, and I've had one coffee and working on an iced coffee right now. So
what you're saying though is that you have more caffeine in you
this
than
is
I
true.
do,
This is
right at the
very
moment.
true.
Yes, we're
The
working on it.
alarm went off
Everybody,
at 6, and I was like, I am not getting up at 6. There's no way. And
right.
reset it for 7 because Brenda wanted to get up at 7 because she had to work. And so I got up at 7 and I was just like, I need coffee.
Right. So
I feel like a zombie.
yeah, we're gonna have a little game. So if you're watching this live, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so glad that you're here with us. If you're watching this after we have gone live, it should be an interesting game to kind of see what happens from how sleepy we are now to how awake we may be by the end of it because we're having.
Well, I have watched a few Star Wars videos this morning, which just kind of got me pumped up and ready. So, between the
Nice.
caffeine and theories, I think I'm ready for this. So,
Okay, good. I'm excited. I have some questions for you, definitely, because I've heard some theories out there and I'm curious to get your point. But today, before I forget, everybody, we are talking about the latest episode of the Disney Plus TV show, Ashoka. Um, and it, and so I am looking forward to our discussion today because it was episode 6, right? Do we only have 2 more?
we only have 2 more. It is almost over. I
Wow.
can't. I mean, I feel like we haven't really touched anything. I, we just got to Thrawn. We just got to Ezra, and it's like, oh, and this is all going to be over. Oh crap! What is Filoni going to do in these last 2 episodes? Are going to have to be just packed with goodness. I don't know what to think right now.
Well, have they started? Rumor has it they're prepping for Ahsoka 2, season 2. Excuse me.
I've heard rumors Ahsoka 2's coming, but there's also the talk of the quote unquote Heir to the Empire film because Filoni, I know you got to take everything that Kathleen Kennedy says with a grain of salt. Actually, you got to take it with a giant salt lick. But she did announce that Filoni was getting his own film, and I think if we can get one thing accurate out of her, I think Filoni getting a film is accurate.
Okay.
But again, I don't, and all of this like Ahsoka, The Mandalorian. I thought one other show was Boba Fett. They're all supposed to tie and culminate into the movie. So, but I don't know when I have no idea when that's coming. I don't know if he started working on it. Of course, nobody can talk about anything either. Nobody associated with Disney, Hollywood, etc. They're not allowed to talk about anything. So we don't know what's coming, and we don't know what's already written. Because they can't write right now. There's a writing freeze. So if they're doing anything, it has to already have been written. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So much is up in the air right now. It's crazy. I don't know what to expect.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Well, do we need to get the ball rolling on the main event because we're
Yeah.
excited to talk everybody. So, uh, what's our game plan for this morning? Are we just going to jump right into it?
Yeah, so we're gonna skip over Geekdar and news. I think there's a lot of world building to talk about in this, and I really don't have anything for Geekdar news.
No worries. No
So
worries.
let's jump right into the main event.
Let's do this. It's time for the main event. Dun, 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 dun. Okay.
I'm excited to hear what theories that you've been hearing. I want to know if they're the same ones I've been hearing. Some I really like. Some I'm like, yeah, that's completely too far fetched. It's not going to happen. You know, I have some things that I would like to happen that I'm afraid can never happen. We'll kind of get into that. Just so many things. I got words to say about Thrawn,
Right. Right.
both good and bad.
Right. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, there's a lot that's happened this last week, or I mean, not even last week, days, just the explosion of theories and discussions and it is, you're right, all about world building. Real quick, I do want to do a shout out to Sage Page Omega, who's watching us on Twitch. Sage, good to
awesome.
see you, man. Sage just shared a joke, which actually got me giggling a little bit. I just want to say, he said, "What is Star Wars' favorite child's toy?" So I thought, wait, what? Star Wars. So Star Wars, their favorite child. So it's a Super Ahsoka. A Super Ahsoka.
Nice. That sounds like one for the three geeky dads right there.
Right.
You know, speaking of shout outs, I need to do a shout out to my nephew Dalton. Today is his birthday. I believe it's his 12th. I'm going to get in trouble if I don't
Happy
have that right. But happy
birthday.
birthday to you. You
Right
belong in
on.
a zoo. Oh, sorry. He does belong in a zoo, by the way.
Oh gosh.
Happy birthday, Dalton. I don't know if he's watching or not. I know he's got some things planned today. I think they
Nice.
said something about they're going to a new coffee shop, which I thought was funny for a 12-year-old.
Right.
And they're going to do some hiking, and he's going to make a cake in a mug, and I don't know, all kinds of things. He said he
Nice.
wasn't going bowling though. I would have liked to go on bowling.
But it's not your birthday.
I like to bowl. What can I say? I don't do it very often, but I like to bowl. I don't know. It was just something I thought about when we were talking about it. So anyway, we're not talking birthday talk though. We're talking Ahsoka. So
Right.
this was episode 6.
Episode
Episode
6,
6,
we said yes.
and
And
it was
what's
entitled Far, Far Away. And there's a reason why it was titled Far, Far Away.
Yep.
Because there
Yep.
was a specific line that was quoted that I went, I did the whole meme, you know, the he
Yeah,
said it,
right.
he said it.
He said it. I heard it. Right. What's your overall score of the episode then?
Okay, I can't give this quite as high a score as last week for sure. Because
Okay.
the action just wasn't there for this one. There really was no action in this. A lot of story building. In fact, I really, you know, I always watch it twice. I watch it initially on Tuesday nights, and then I usually watch it again on Friday nights before we do our episode, because I want to kind of refresh myself going into the episode.
Mhm.
And then I do a lot of little YouTube videos and stuff to help me refresh and everything. Um, so and you know, like last week's, I mean, I definitely wanted to watch it a second time, but as far as excitement level, I didn't need it a second time. You know, it's just like, oh, I was just pumped from the first time. Yeah, this one I needed a second viewing to get me more into the episode.
Okay.
because the
Interesting.
first time I was like, okay, it's a little slow. Thrawn's a little fat, which threw me
Mhm.
off. Sorry. I know I can't talk much, but we've all put a little weight on, but he's Grand Admiral Thrawn and I'm not. So anyway, I'll rant about that in a little bit. But after I watched it second time and I'm seeing more of the world building and I'm seeing some character development and that I just kind of didn't quite get the first time, I have to give it a score of 8. Oh,
Sure.
I forgot. We need to pick a scale, and Brenda
Mhm.
suggested that we used the hermit crab turtle crabs, whatever they are.
Oh, okay. Okay.
the uh the natties. The
Okay. Yeah.
natties is what they were
And
called. So
Nazis. Okay.
so I will give it 8 natties out of 10. 8 natties out.
Okay.
And a
Okay.
lot of that has to do with some of the visionary that was in this, just the visuals that was in this. I love the stormtroopers. It was just the stormtroopers were glorious in this. It was like, wow, those are so cool. I want action figures. Action figures. Must have action figures.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I would give it. That's still a good score. 8 is still a good score, and I would agree with you in the aspect that it was not that it was a filler episode because it was a great world building episode.
Agreed.
I really liked it. I really liked it. Um, Again, it's not like the big surprises in the battles and or the action that we had in the previous episode. It had its own reveals. It had its own, there's little action bits pieces here and there, but it was, as you predict, this was the episode that we got Thrawn,
Mm-hmm.
um, kind of a thing. And it was some neat review, neat. I would agree with you. The scenery, the views, the big ship, the way it looked, and we got introduced to the I guess we call them the Nazis. I don't know. I don't know yet, but
They're the natties. I had the track on. I always have the audio track on, and
the subtitles.
yeah, the subtitles say they're the natties, Noti, natties. Natties, naughties, they're naughty little creatures.
So, but I would also give it a good solid 8.
Oh,
Eight
nice. We're
8 out
right
of
on.
10. Yeah, because it was a good episode,
Oh,
and
I'm not
uh,
saying it wasn't a good
yeah,
episode.
yeah, and I hear you say that. I just really enjoyed the world building, and especially the world building of Shin and Balin.
Yes, yes.
And so I look forward to having some discussions with you today about that. So
Okay.
there's my score, 8 out of 10. Hotties. No key, noties,
No,
no
noties,
keys, no
naughties,
the
naughty,
Nazis, the
naughty,
naughties.
the naughties, the naughties. We'll go with naughties. I like naughty.
Right?
Although they weren't really naughty. They were actually
You
pretty
say naughty, I say shinhati.
nice.
Sorry.
Oh gosh, you're starting to sound like Andrew Staples. You're just stuck on Shin Hati.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. If you have a Facebook account, you need to check out the
Escape
Escape
pod.
Pod Facebook group. Great geek group. It's run by our show friend Andrew
Andrew
Staples,
Staples. Then you
who
can troll him about Hati and
he
uh,
is. Yeah, he's such. He is obsessed with Shinhati. He's got some great
oh
memes
my
and stuff
gosh,
that
he's
he
got
does.
merch on her already. I was shocked.
Does he really? That's
Well,
awesome.
he had a T-shirt and everything, and I was just like, "Wow, where in the world did you get that?"
Yeah.
I can barely find Ahsoka t-shirts, let alone Shin Hati. Hey, my gosh. And believe me, I was looking for Ahsoka t-shirts because I wanted one to go with my hat.
Right.
I know
What was it?
I can
What was
order
he
one.
said? He stated just recently, one of his posts was about it wasn't the Ahsoka show.
Oh yeah, yeah. He said, let's see if I still got it. Oh shoot, I had it up. He said something about he's really going to be um, sad when the Shin Hati series ends.
Yeah.
And then I posted a meme of The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, working out, and it says me getting ready for the demise of Shin Hati and Andrew's consistent blubbering. And he responded back, "How dare you?"
Andrew's a great guy. A lot of fun.
Although I gotta say I don't think it's gonna be Shin that's gonna bite the dust. I believe it's going to be Balin Skol. Now part of that is because and every episode I watch, my heart sinks a little bit more because I know we're coming to the end of him because the actor died before the series
Yeah.
premiered,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Ray Stevenson. Mm-hmm.
And man, I think we are losing out on a great character, and I'm really really bummed about it because honestly, I think he's the most interesting character in this entire series. He
Mm-hmm.
intrigues me more than anybody does, and I
Mm-hmm.
so want to learn more about him. Heck, I wouldn't mind a young Balin Skull adventures or something just to see what he went through, because he talks about in this episode with Shin, he says, I was just a little bit older than yourself when I saw the temple burn. That means he was there when
Mm-hmm.
Anakin seized the temple. There's a possibility he faced Anakin there, and he
Mm-hmm.
said he told Ahsoka, very few got to see what your master became. And that alludes that, that shows you he knows who Anakin became. He knows he became Darth Vader, and he has firsthand experience at that. And that sends shivers down my spine because I'm like, oh, I want to know more about him.
Yeah.
And even when he arrives and Thrawn looks at him and says, oh, you're General Skol,
Mm-hmm.
Thrawn knows who he is. That's a
Yeah.
big thing, you know. If a uh,
Grand Admiral.
Grand Admiral in the Empire, I was tripping up on words there. If he knows who you are by name, you were important. You were somebody big. So he did some big things in the Clone Wars, and I want to know more about it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yep.
I find him intriguing. He's
Yep.
so cool, and I feel like we're I mean we're not getting robbed because you can't escape destiny. He passed away, and there's just nothing we can do about it. But
Yeah.
and I don't want to see the whole Disney magic of replacing his face on another actor later, unless maybe we get like one or two scenes. I don't want to do this whole de-age, like they de-age Mark Hamill. I think that's a different situation than if they would just completely recreate him because he hasn't been in Star Wars enough to really do something like that. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I want more of him. So I just don't know how we do that. Do we do it through books? Do we do it through comics? Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Jeff. Jeff from Nerdery and Murdery just chimed
Good morning. Hey, just for our friends that Jeff's coming in, here's my nerdery and murdery
Nice.
mug. Dun 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 dun.
And Jeff and Zig will be joining us for our next crossover with them at the end of October. I'm looking forward to that.
It's gonna be splendorific.
It's gonna be fun. And we're gonna do some Star Wars awesomeness. And Jeff's got a special I don't know if I can. I don't know if he wants me to give it away or not. I don't know.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
He just said yay. So yeah, Jeff's got a special murdery for us. So he says he's ready to record right now. I'm not quite ready yet. I got to do some more research on Bane before we. I haven't read Bane in a long time, so
Yep.
I got some things planned that I need to go over before I'm ready. But I need the few weeks. I need a few
Right
weeks.
on. It's all good. It's all good. So, if you had to do a synopsis of this episode, what was really this episode about? Like, what occurred in this episode?
Ooh, that's a good question. Man, because we got so we got introduced. I mean, we weren't introduced, but we got a little more introduction to the. I don't know if they're really witches of Dathomir. You know, they're related to the witches of Dathomir. The what are they called? The Grand Mothers. So
Mhm.
that tells me that they're more powerful than the witches of Dathomir. And I
Mhm.
do question, are they even more powerful than Mother Taslin? Or are they on the same? Because Mother Taslin, she's the one who brought Darth Maul back. You know, she's the one that gave him his legs and so on and so forth. She's the one who uh, made Savage Opress into the giant monster that Savage Opress becomes.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
she's obviously pretty powerful. So I believe they are descendants of the Nightsisters, but I think they're more than the Nightsisters. I think they're way more powerful than the Nightsisters, which is why I believe Thrawn is utilizing them. Because as a Thrawn reader, as an avid fan of Thrawn, I know that Thrawn is a strategist and he will use whatever he can in order to get to his goal. So there's the big question here. What is Thrawn's ultimate goal? You know, because I'm still not 100% sure what his ultimate goal is. It just to bring the Empire back? Is, you know, ultimately it should be something about protecting his people, the Chiss, because that's where they go in the novels. In the new novels, he's more about protecting his race than
Mhm.
anything, and that is his ultimate goal in the novels. Um, and even in the new novels, that's what is established, and the new novels are officially Disney canon. So, man, there's just you got that. We got the night troopers, which to me are definitely death troopers. These
Which
are
is
these are reanimated zombie stormtroopers. And I got this book a few years ago. Um, and at first I thought this book was just going to be silly, and then I got into Walking Dead, and I was like, okay, I'll try a horror Star Wars crossover. Just to, I'm sure it's going to be so. Actually, I absolutely love this book. This is a fantastic book. So when I saw those troopers, my first thought was, those are the death troopers. Now, I think they're a little different than the death troopers, because the death troopers are just mindless zombies, period.
Mhm.
And I think these are controlled zombies. So we might actually getting the more correct zombie lore out of this, because the real original zombie lore is they're not necessarily the dead, just coming back to eat flesh. They are actually puppets of someone else. And I believe they are the puppets of the grandmothers
Yeah.
in this episode. So we got a lot in this episode,
We got a
actually.
lot. Yeah, you're jumping from this and then this and then this and then this
Sorry.
and then
Sorry.
this. No, it's okay. Hey, real quick, I want to welcome John Kramer. That
Morning,
was
John.
pretty. He's like, who knew Star Wars is being narrated by Doctor Who? Haha. You're right. We're gonna get into that. In that reference, everybody. That's just a good one. Appreciate it. Um, Jeff came back in and said he thinks that the grandmothers are Nightsisters.
Well, I think they're beyond Nightsisters. I think they're more than just Nightsisters, because I think the Nightsisters are below them, actually. But we'll find out as this goes on.
Like master and apprentice kind of a
Right.
thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
John picked up that the lead Night Sister, or the lead witch, as Shin Hati would say, is Claudia Black. I did not pick that up at first, but later I picked up on it.
Yeah, that has been confirmed. She is Claudia Black. He is absolutely right.
Yeah. Claudia Black, for those that may not know, she was in Farscape. She did, if you played the Nathan Drake games Uncharted, she was one of the main characters in that. And yeah. And also, real quick shout out, Sam from Australia. Nice to have you with us.
Hi, Sam. Thank you. Good day, mate.
Yep. Oh, and Stargate. Yep. Sorry.
And then Jeff just threw out one word, and I want to. Yasalme, I don't know how to pronounce it. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see those, Jeff. And for us diehard Thrawn fans, I think that's a disappointment that we won't see them. But I think part of the reason we're not gonna see them is because we're not. I don't feel that we're diving as heavily into the Force per se in this, and a little more into some kind of magical realm. I mean, of course, we're gonna have the Force in it because we got Balin, Skol, and Shin Hati, and we got Ashoka, and they're all part of the Force and everything. But I think we're delving a little more into this magical realm that we really haven't touched into in Star Wars so much. So, and I think that might be a deep dive for fans, fans who are not that well versed with Thrawn. But the Yalshami are these little lizard creatures that basically block the Force. So, and Thrawn had a few of these. In fact, he would wear one around his neck, and I have action figures with the Yalshami around Thrawn's neck, actually, because they're pretty cool. And Luke encounters them and realizes quickly that he can't use the Force because those things are around. So great reference. And yes, John's right. Stargate, that's where Claudia Black came from.
Another one. Mm-hmm. And then Jeff is sharing that he thinks he'll use the Nightsisters for that role, kind of a thing.
I think you're right. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that could be it.
Interesting. Okay.
They could be, because they did have that interesting comment. Now, yeah, let's talk about that a minute. So when the Nightsisters meet Balin, Skol, Shin Hati, and Sabine, one of them says, "It reeks of Jedi." My first thought was they're actually talking about Balin, Skol. That's what I was hoping.
Agreed. Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, they send their little things over to Sabine, and I just rolled my eyes. I'm like, come on.
I think it's a misdirect.
Yeah, I'm hoping you're right. I'm hoping it's a misdirect. I think so, too. Because, I mean, even Shin Hati, when she's fighting her, she's like, you have no power, Mm-hmm. And every time Sabine tries, she can't do anything. Even in this episode, that was pretty funny, by the way. She's trying to use the Force, and then all of a sudden there's this rumbling, and the rumbling's not her using the Force. It's Thrawn's ship, the Chimera, which, by the way, I was just like, it's the Chimera. There it is with the markings underneath. And I was geeking out. I was so geeking out. But yeah, yeah, I'm hoping you're right. I'm hoping that's a misdirect, and they really don't see anything in her whatsoever. That's I just want her to be a Mandalorian. That's all I want her to be. I don't want her to be a Jedi.
Right.
That still drives me crazy. Oh. Okay. Can we talk about Thrawn?
Yeah, you're the one that's going all over the place. You just whatever you want to talk. Let's go.
All right, I gotta address the elephant in the room. So I've been a Thrawn fan since 1991, since he was introduced in Heir to the Empire. I absolutely
Okay.
love the character. He is one of my absolute favorite Star Wars characters of all time. I have been dying to see him live action. I was thrilled when they announced that Miles Mickelson was going to play him because he voiced him in Rebels, and I thought he did this just fantastic job of being the voice of Thrawn. So I was really, really looking forward to it. I was a little shocked when he came on screen, and I went, "Wow, Thrawn's been eating pretty good in this galaxy."
Yeah.
And again, I can't say a lot. Yeah, I've put on weight over the years too, but I am not Grand Admiral Thrawn, and he is, and I expect my Grand Admiral Thrawn to be nice, thin, and trim. And he was not those things.
Right.
And I was a little taken back by it. I was like, okay, all right. I think I got over it a little bit once, the character started get rolling a little bit, and
Well,
I'm
since
hearing
you're
his
bringing it
voice.
up today, I'd say you didn't get over it. But hey, continue on.
Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I
Uh,
did. Maybe by next episode I will, but I don't know. It was just something that bugged me, and I was glad when I listened to Rebel Force Radio the other day, because I wasn't the only one that was bugged by that. There are a lot of people who are like, "Yeah, he ate pretty well over in that galaxy." You'd think that there wouldn't be as much to eat, but I think there's a McDonald's there somewhere.
must be. Must be. There's a couple of fast food places. Sure.
Oh, anyway, so I just had to get that out. It was just something that's been driving me crazy. Let's see, what else does Jeff have to say? What about the rumor that Shin Hati will become Captain Phasma? I have not seen this rumor at all. Oh
Nah.
God, I don't want that to happen.
Nah.
Jeff, I hope that's just a rumor, and I hope it never comes to light. Captain Phasma was one of the biggest letdowns in all of Star Wars. I was so excited because I thought she was going to be this amazing character, and she just became a dud. I was so bummed out by that.
Well, it just wasn't fleshed out. The character wasn't fleshed out or allowed to really do anything.
Right.
It was a great concept,
Oh, it
really, and
was.
the actress who played Captain Phasma has much more better range than
Cheers.
what they gave her in the movie. So I think it was just bad writing,
I don't
unfortunately.
think I don't think Filoni will go anywhere near that. Honestly, I I just don't believe that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's
Uh,
kind of a stretch. That's a stretch. I've heard more
I
stretch theories in the last 4 days that I'll be open with you. Boy, that one just takes the cake though, Jeff.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the first I've heard of that one,
yeah,
and
that
that
one.
one, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll even go for the Abeloth theory over that one, and I think that one's far off, very very far off, and that's the
Oh,
one I'm
you already
wondering.
mentioned the one. Yeah, you already mentioned the other one. That's
Okay,
the other
so
theory.
that all
We'll
right,
get to it in a minute. We'll get to it in a minute. We'll get to it in a
all right.
minute. But I just want to say that I've heard so many different theories that I'm tired of hearing them. So many wild, crazy theories. I'm just like, seriously, folks, it doesn't all have to connect. And even with Balin Skol, I don't need anything else to connect with him other than just continuing to hear his story. I love
Well,
he
I
is my favorite character
I agree. I
in
agree.
in this series because he's so intriguing. I'm not saying that I don't like the other characters, don't get me wrong. But what I am saying is he's probably, for me personally, he is the most intriguing character in Star Wars right now because he's been introduced and we don't know him, kind of a thing.
Wow, Jeff gave us the link to where he found the Ahsoka or the Shin Hati theory. Um, I'll have to look at that later, but I'm just not. I'm not feeling it, Jeff. I'm just not feeling it. Part of it is I don't want to feel it, but
Right.
I totally agree with you. I think that uh yeah, Balin is the most intriguing character in this series.
Mhm.
I hate to say it, I even like him a little bit more than Ahsoka, and I love Ahsoka. Ahsoka's always been a
Oh,
favorite
yeah.
character of mine,
Mhm.
and I'm not trying to take anything away from her. It's just Balin's new, he's intriguing, and there's a mystery about him,
Mhm.
and I want to know more. I want
Right.
more of Balin Skull, and I'm so bummed that we're most likely not going to get that, because of the actor passing away, unfortunately.
Right. Would you
Race.
be okay if they got someone else to continue on the
See, I don't
character?
know. I was thinking about that this morning. I'm like, how would I feel about that? How would I feel? I mean, man, they got to be really, really good because this guy was good. He
He's
was a
really
great
good.
actor,
His
and
facial expressions, the way he's
oh,
acting, the nuance to his tone of voice, and you're like, well, he's not like all bad, but he's not all good, but yet I mean, there's just a constant, just intriguing balance of a character. Maybe that's why his lightsaber's
I
orange.
do believe that he is, and I hate this term. I don't like this term, but I do believe he is actually the epitome of the, yeah, I'm gonna say it, gray Jedi. And I
Ah! There's a
hate that
snowball
term.
flying through hell right now.
That was a great line. I hate that term, but I think he just epitomizes that description. He is literally in between. But he's the one character so far out of all of them that if it's going to be a gray Jedi, okay, you've got me intrigued now. I'm willing to delve into these stories if that's the case. Now, as far as a different actor playing, I think if they went back and we did a younger Balin Skull, yeah, I'm fine with a younger, because then you need a younger actor to come in and play him, and I think that would work. I think we could do that, and then maybe if we had a series of a younger Balin, maybe then we could recast the older Balin, and I think that might be easier to handle. You know what I mean? But I think if we went from him now into like season 2, I think that'd be a little jarring. I don't know. And other characters have done it. Other characters have done it and gotten away with it. Uh, you know, um, I'm trying to think. What's her face in Thor? The girlfriend in Thor. Um, she was a different actress in the first Thor, and then the second Thor, some uh, Padme played her.
Natalie
um,
Portman?
yeah, Natalie Portman, but she didn't play her in the original Thor. Somebody else did, and they pulled that off. They were successful with that.
No,
There's
she was the original Thor.
no somebody else played her in the first Thor.
Okay.
I
Jane
thought.
Foster, yes, Jeff. That's correct. Jane Foster is the name of the character, yeah.
Right. I thought somebody else played her. Anyway,
That's okay, keep going.
there's been some examples of other actresses that have or actresses have switched, between movies and such, and people didn't blink an eye. Um, I think this might be a little difficult because he was so visible and made such an impact on a lot of
Mhm.
us Star Wars fans. I don't know how it would work, but we'll see.
It was Rhodey. Good call, Jeff. It was
Brody.
Rhodey that was a different actor.
Okay. Okay. I
Mhm.
know somebody was, but anyway.
Yep, yep. Well, let me ask you this. I wanna get into this. This is real important 'cause we're already 39 minutes in. 40 minutes in.
Longer
Who
than the episode.
Yeah. The biggest question for me personally is who or who is is Balin Skull hearing? what is calling to him. And I've seen the theories. I just don't know. And this is what I really want to get out of today's episode.
Okay.
For me personally, is your opinion, is it Abeloth? Now, for those who may not know, would you please give us a little bit on who Abeloth is, and then if you think it is or isn't Abeloth?
I had no idea who Abeloth was until this morning.
No, you knew who Abeloth was.
When have
We've
we
talked
talked
about
about
Abeloth before, I
have
thought.
we? I don't remember talking about
Okay.
Abeloth.
Okay, go ahead.
This was new to me. I didn't know anything about this character. And I think this is just totally far-fetched. Abeloth is some kind of well, okay, the way one of the theories that I listened to described Abeloth, she's almost like a mermaid, which is interesting. It's an interesting
Mermaid?
concept. Well, okay, let me explain. She's like a mermaid in the fact that she is
A whole
exiled.
new world. Oh, no, sorry. Oh, no, that's Aladdin.
No,
Sorry.
yeah, that's right. and
Wrong Disney princess.
not that kind of mermaid, the dark mermaids of the original. Yeah, exactly. Like the siren songs.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That's what I'm getting at. More like the siren songs. Okay. I mean, I'm
Okay.
not saying she's physically a mermaid. I'm just saying that would be a equivalent to what I think she is. Anyway. So basically she's exiled to this galaxy. She can't, or planet, she can't get off of it. Some people believe that the planet that they are currently on is that planet that she was
Agreed. That's what
exiled.
I've heard.
Right. And she's like super powerful, and she calls both Jedi and Sith to her, and she basically takes over them. Okay.
Mhm.
And then uses them as her bidding. I think that's highly far-fetched. I don't think Filoni's going anywhere near that.
Here's the connection of Abeloth that I thought may be possible, or why people are connecting that, is only because Abeloth's connection to the Mortis god.
Right. But now, I think the Mortis gods, I think that's highly possible. And the reason I say I believe the Mortis gods could play into this is because Dave Filoni had direct creation with the Mortis gods. He and George worked together on the Mortis gods, and that is one of George's favorite works. He loves the Mortis trilogy. So I could easily see Filoni going, I want to pay tribute to George's favorite Star Wars stories. And I could see him pulling the Mortis gods into this in some way or fashion. I mean, we may not see them completely manifest into the series, but I could see him in some form or fashion pulling it into that. I do believe the world between worlds plays into it. I believe Anakin plays into it. So I think that is a workable theory. Abeloth, I think it's too far-fetched. Part of the reason is because Den of Nerds came up with that, and I think he comes up with too deep of theories that that Filoni has said in the past. Sometimes the fans come up with theories that are so complex that we would have never even thought of those.
Yeah, it's too far to get there. Too much to get there.
Right. And I think he is digging too deep, and I think he's going too far. But I don't think the Mortis trilogy is out of reach. I think Abeloth is out of reach, and I don't think the Mortis trilogy is. Filoni may not even touch that. I don't know.
The whole aspect of the Mortis trilogy, and for those who haven't seen it, it's 3 episodes out of the
Clone Wars,
which is really good. It's just a really good one. Great world building. I see it connected because it is mentioned in Rebels. We do get,
Yes.
the painting, the interactive,
Yes.
painting that Ezra interacts with is the mortis, the father, the daughter, and the son kind of a thing. And then
Jeff said two out of left field.
two out of left field. Yeah, yeah, agreed. It's deep. Now, I remember Abeloth from the viewpoint of when I first heard of Abeloth. It was, who is the most dangerous, darkest character in the
Oh
Star
yeah,
Wars universe, and that's Abeloth, of whom in Legends, who Luke Skywalker has to fight.
yes.
And that's where I remember us first talking about Abeloth. I did not get the connection that Abeloth to Mortis.
I didn't either. I
I,
just
I, I was like, really? That's I was unaware of that connection, and I still don't know if I buy it just yet. Now, so I don't think it's Abeloth. I think we're going to get something more richer, something better, because again, it doesn't have to all be connected for me.
well
Although,
now if we get Mortis, it is connected.
well, I mean that, yeah, and I'm totally okay with that. But a lot of these theories that go super deep, as you put them, um, was how shall I say, that went just too deep and stuff. What did Jeff say?
Jeff said, I thought Exar Kun was the most dangerous. If I remember
Maybe
right, Exar Kun was from Old Republic, right? See,
I
I'm not.
I don't know. I don't know about
I
Exar
know
Kun.
the
So
name, but I'm not familiar with the lore. But I definitely know the name, and
yeah,
I think he comes out of the Old Republic. Um, you know
yes, Jeff said
that
yes. Old
and that
Republic.
all depends it all depends on who you ask as far as who's the most dangerous, so on and so forth and stuff.
Hmm.
And I think as time goes on, there's always going to be, well, this one's now the most dangerous.
Right,
I
right.
think you're always going to get that, so that's hard to determine. His spirit remained on Yavin 4.
Hmm.
Interesting. That's
So
really interesting. Huh.
now, I mean, even whether it's Abeloth, no matter what, is a dark character and dark for Star Wars. But I've got to ask you,
Okay.
do you think the whole Night Trooper thing is pretty dark for Star Wars?
Um yeah. Yeah, it is. But I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, we already went there. We went there with Marok. He was
Hmm.
obviously Night Sister magic. When Ahsoka kills him, he turns into green goo,
Mists.
or
Yeah.
green mist and stuff. Could be argued that the Ghostbusters sucked him up with one of their traps,
Right.
ghost traps. Oh, oh, dang! Oh my gosh, I just nerded all over myself there. Yeah, I want Ghostbusters now. I want Ghostbusters in Star Wars. But I think it's obvious that these troopers are reanimated dead, is what they are. Because Thrawn says he lost most of his fleet during that, thing with the Purgles. Um,
Hmm.
and he's got those Nightsisters, or mothers, whatever you want to call them.
Hmm.
He has them around for a reason, obviously, and I believe they're using him too. They have ulterior purpose too.
Everybody does.
Exactly, exactly. Just like Balin says, um, our enemy is our, what is it? The enemy of our friend is
The enemy of our enemy is our
our
friend.
friend. That's right. The enemy of our enemy is our friend. And when it comes to the Empire, yeah, that's all. It's all true. It's all true. It's all true, as Han would have said. Um, but yeah, I believe that they are the reanimated dead. And I watched a couple theories, and I didn't realize this when it was happening, but I totally believe this. The caskets that the troopers are carrying throughout the episode, those are dead Nightsisters. They're dead Nightsisters, and they're gonna bring them back too. So yeah, this could get very dark. Um, but I'm okay with it. I'm embracing it. Yeah, bring it on. Bring on the darkness. Because guess
Mm.
what? You sure you can go really dark and then we can have the light side, come out and be more glorified,
Mhm.
so I'm okay with that.
Mm,
Bring on the darkness.
um, yeah, sorry, I had a question and I just about lost it, but the, with yeah, I just don't know as far as dark it gets. You've got the whole zombie situation and this reanimated dead. Oh yeah. Didn't we see though? Was it Rebels?
Again, Death Troopers. Read Death Troopers.
Right.
It is an
Did,
awesome book.
did we see them in? Did we see the Nightsisters reanimate
Yes.
folks in Rebel? Was it Rebels?
Okay. Well, first of all, they brought back Darth Maul and they gave him legs, and it was all through Night Sister magic.
Right.
Um, they they did reanimate somebody. I don't remember what it is. And more importantly, during the was it Boba Fett or Mandalorian episode where we have the Shadow Council? I believe that was the Mandalorian episode. Anyway, we see the Shadow Council and Pelion is there, and he is the right hand man of Thrawn in the original Thrawn trilogy books. Okay, he even brings up what did he call it? Operation Necromancer. I believe that's what we're seeing the beginning works of is Operation Necromancer. It makes complete and total sense, you know. So I think that's what he was talking about in the Shadow Council.
Right.
And again, yeah, it's gonna get
Yeah,
dark. It's gonna get very
that's
dark.
interesting.
Let's see. John said, well, oh, wait a minute. Well, yeah, let's go with John first. John said that is played by Wes Chapman.
Enoch.
Oh, Enoch. Okay. Okay, Enoch. And
Mhm.
then Jeffrey said that creepy captain of the troops with the gold face. That's
Yeah,
that's
that's
Enoch.
was played by
Um
yeah.
yeah, we gotta talk about Enoch a second.
Yep.
That guy looks awesome. Again, action figure. I want an action figure.
Right.
So cool looking guy. I kept wanting to look at him more and more like, dang, you intrigued me. I've never seen a trooper like you, you know?
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
and yeah, I want more of this guy. I want to know who he is. I want to know why he's got a face and not,
Mhm.
just a stormtrooper
Wh
mask.
When I first saw that mask, it reminded me of going back to the movie Gladiator, where he
Oh,
fought
wow.
the one guy who had the mask, and it
Yeah.
says, "We who are about to die salute you," who had that mask, who's a big guy, and that was kinda what it reminded me of. Um, again, we have another intriguing character that we're like, "Oh, interesting." If he's his right-hand man there, kind of a thing. I
Yeah, I'm intrigued by this guy.
Yeah, yeah. I do wanna laugh that as you were talking about Darth Maul getting his legs, Jeff put in the chat, Lieutenant Daya got magic legs."
There's memes of Forrest with Anakin. Anakin, you ain't got no legs. Want some ice cream?
Um,
I love that meme. That's a great meme. That's so funny. Oh, okay. What did Jeff say here? Made me think of
Eyes
Eyes
Wide
Wide
Shut.
Shut. Eyes Wide
It's an
Shut.
old movie.
I don't know if I've ever seen Eyes Wide Shut. I know the
Tom
title.
Cruise, Nicole Kidman,
Ah, okay.
Stanley Kubrick,
Oh,
film. But anyway, so let me
okay.
ask you this. Where do you think we're headed? What are we gonna see in the next 2 episodes? Based upon some of the world building that we've gotten, do you think that Thrawn is gonna get back to our Star Wars galaxy or not? Or are we introducing a new far, far away, as we briefly mentioned at the beginning, being narrated by Doctor Who himself? Um,
Which was awesome, by the way. I love that.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Just hearing David Tennant say, in a galaxy far, far away. I
it
was
was
just like,
great.
oh my gosh, I got goosebumps. I loved it. Doctor Who saying, yeah, the intro to Star Wars. Absolutely loved it.
It was
Fantastic.
great. It was great. So,
Um,
so where do you think we're headed? What's going to happen in these next 2 episodes?
um, I do believe that Thrawn will leave. I mean, that's the whole
He'll
purpose
escape.
of this, right? You're not going to go to this planet and we're just going to sit here. Yeah.
Right.
Thrawn has to escape because he has some kind of larger plan. Where exactly he's going, I have no freaking clue. I don't know. Um, I do believe he plans on leaving Balin, Shin, Ezra,
Everybody else.
and
Yeah.
Ahsoka, Ahsoka hasn't arrived, and Sabine. I believe he plans on leaving all of them because my theory is he sent Balin and Shin after Sabine and Ezra to get them away from him because he's like, I don't need them. They're in my way, and I only want you around if I need you for something. I don't need
Hmm.
you. Here, go after them. You go get them. And then I could care less what happens to you. I think that was just his way of redirecting them and saying, nope, I just need you out of my way so I can get the hell out of here. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
adios, adios, guys.
Right.
See ya later. That's that. But other than that, I don't know where they're going.
Yeah. But even Balin was just, it almost seems like Balin was using the opportunity. The only reason he continued was to go to Peridia because of power. I mean,
Now, yeah, let's talk about that a little bit
sure.
because I think Balin's in search of something bigger than just power. He's not like a Sith, I want ultimate power.
Right. Right.
No, that's not Balin. But I think Shin has a bit of the dark side in her. I think she could easily be tipped to the dark side. And I think if Balin gets killed, see, everybody keeps theorizing, including my wife, that Shin is going to turn to the light side because Balin's going to get killed. I think it's the opposite. I think it's going to drive her to the dark side because I think she has a streak of the dark side in her. I see
Hmm.
more because she's always talking about power, power. When do we get our chance? When do we get our power? You know,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
Balin's always more reserved and held back, and he's like, no, 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 no. We're out for something larger than that. We want something bigger. And he keeps saying, I want to go to the beginning. I want to stop this cycle of bad, good, bad, good, bad, good.
Hmm.
He wants something more. I'm not 100% sure what his intentions are, though.
Hmm.
But her, I think she's craving the power that a Sith craves. So I just disagree with everyone who's like, "Oh no, she's going to turn the light side." I don't think that. I think she's different. I mean, she's the same in the fact that she craves the power, but I don't think she fits the regular Star Wars narrative of, "Oh, well, something bad happened, so I'm going to switch to the light side." I don't think she fits that I don't think she fits in that keyhole. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I,
Yep.
but that's what I
Yep.
see. I could be completely wrong. Maybe she does turn the light side. Maybe she joins with Ezra and Sabine. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I do like the aspect that Balin has got this whole, they have orange lightsabers, this whole mix between light and dark to a certain degree or something. And even in this episode where it mentioned where he is almost like he really does appreciate the Jedi Order, but not what they became as far as a political
Right.
kind of a force. That's how I interpreted what he said.
And if you think about that, that is very much like both Qui-Gon Jinn, because Qui-Gon Jinn never agreed with the council. You know,
Mhm.
Obi-Wan, remember Obi-Wan said that in episode 1, "Master, if you would just agree with the council, they would put you on it." You know?
Mhm.
Um, and he never agreed with them. But then you had oh my gosh, um, Count Dooku. Count Dooku was an idealist, and he didn't necessarily fit completely into the Sith. He really wanted to change the Jedi Order, is what he
Mhm.
wanted to do. And so, but he wasn't, he wasn't totally a Sith. You know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
think Balin kind of falls more in line with a little bit darker Qui-Gon Jinn and something along the lines of Count Dooku, somewhere around there.
Okay. I
Dark
like that. Okay.
So, but I think his intentions are, I think ultimately his intentions are actually good. Uh, I think that's where he falls
From a particular point of view.
from a certain,
A certain point of view,
as
right.
Obi-Wan would say. I'm not sure Obi-Wan would agree with us, but because I do think that Obi-Wan looked at everything more black and white, you know.
Mhm.
Um, and I tend to prefer that in my Star Wars, but I gotta say, he has kind of won me over to the gray Jedi. And maybe that's what it took. Maybe it took a brand new character, because I always hated this whole thing. Well, Luke might actually be a gray Jedi. Stop it. No, Luke is not a gray Jedi. Stop it. I
Mhm.
hate that. And Obi-Wan is definitely not a gray Jedi. And Qui-Gon Jinn's not a gray Jedi, you know. Um uh, Qui-Gon Jinn looked at things differently, but I never thought of him as a great. This one I think could actually fit that. And he intrigues me. So maybe I'm finally won over with that theory. It took a long time to get there, though.
Right
We'll,
on.
we'll see what
Right
happens.
on. So what else do you think is gonna happen? Obviously, Thrawn's gonna get back to the Star Wars galaxy, our uh whatever our Star Wars. They're in one far, far away, but now they're going to come back to our regular far, far away galaxy.
Oh, well, I think we have to go back to the
Yeah.
other galaxy. Um,
I
so
don't
what
think we're
was
going to get any kind of real closure out of the series. I think it's just going to open up. I
well,
can't wait for the next season. And then,
right?
as you stated, we're going to have a movie. And how are they all going to interact and intertwine?
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think we can get any real closure because first of all, you only have 2 episodes left, and there's so many loose threads. It's like, well, we can't close everything up at the end of
mhm,
this season and tie it up into a nice bow. There's just no way.
right.
Um, and I think this is all Filoni's build up towards the movie. That's what I think this is. It's building because then you're going to get the explosive stuff in the movie. So,
Mm,
yeah, there's only so much we can with a movie on the helm, there's only so much you can do in the TV series. All you can do is set up the movie in the TV series. And I don't have a problem with that, especially considering there is an end goal in mind somewhere.
mhm.
Filoni has a place that he wants to go with this, and that's good. Unlike the sequel trilogy that they had no freaking idea where they were going with.
Mhm, mhm. My guess is it's going to be the last episode where they all get back to our standard far, far away galaxy. Where we're coming back to it. That's that's where I see that. So then I would say uh, after that, um, I they'll all get back. I mean, that's really where things are going to end. It's going to come back. They're going to be in the galaxy, and you're like, oh, what's going to happen now? Kind of a thing. So that's how I see where we're at. One last thing I got to ask you about is there seems to be this theory that you can't trust Ezra. I don't. I I was going to get your thoughts on that if you knew anything about that, or people are
Sorry.
saying something about Ezra.
Sorry, I was just reading what Jeff said. Jeff was referring to Shin Hati, and it said she's already part of the dark side already. She has made the red blade bleed, so she has the crystal bleed. She already had the crystal bleed. Yeah, I'm not 100% consider. I mean, I don't think she's there yet. I think she's on the verge. I'm sorry. Where were you going with the Ezra thing? I got distracted by Jeff's comment.
Yeah, that's all right.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
It's nothing. We'll finish out with this one, but the Ezra something, because we got Ezra back, or Ezra, we get to see Ezra that right at the very end and stuff. If people say, "Oh no, you can't trust Ezra," or don't trust Ezra, or something like
What?
that. Yeah, I didn't even bother clicking on him because I was just like, "Nah, I don't care about that," kind of a thing. But I was curious if you had any thoughts on it.
No, I think Ezra's
It's
intentions are
Ezra.
always good. It's Ezra.
Mhm.
By the way, I loved the casting of Ezra. I thought he was fantastic. A little climatic getting to him because it was like, oh, okay, the little creatures just led you to
Yeah, it
Ezra.
was a little quirky. Yes.
I mean, the only slight challenge we got was when she had the little battle with the their version of the Tusken Raiders,
Yeah. There you
which
go. Right.
actually I absolutely love that. I
They're pretty
love the
neat. The
fact that,
nomads or whatever they are. Yeah.
yeah, that Filoni gave us, for lack of better term, a digi- di- di- digina- I can't say the word. Indians.
Indigenous.
Indigenous. Thank you.
The
He gave us
indigenous
an
people.
indigenous people for this planet.
And
And
Jawas.
right, well, yeah, but they were, the great thing was we just didn't get sand people and Jawas again.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay. Well, this time we'll put sand people in purple clothes and we'll put Jawas in green robes. And
Right.
no, he created new creatures, and I liked them. They were fun, and they were very Star Warsy. Filoni's good at animals. He's very good. Oh, I forgot. There was also a scene that Star Wars Theory pointed out, and I completely forgot this. It completely slipped my mind. But after that battle with them, I think it's right after that battle, Sabine sees some kind of bat creature fly off, and it looks exactly what the sun turned into in the Mortis trilogy. Exactly. So I think that's another clue that we may be heading towards the Mortis trilogy. I think that's some sort of clue that maybe the Mortis is there. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're on that planet.
I could go with that. If we could see Mortis in live action, ooh,
That'd be interesting. That'd be
that
really
would
cool.
be. That would be.
We got Anakin. Why not?
Right?
I'm up for that.
Or maybe it's the sun that's there. Rather than Abeloth, it's the sun that is calling out.
I see. I would like that better, and I think that's more of where Filoni will go. Oh yeah, much more better. Cheers.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's where Filoni will go if he goes any of these theories. It's going to be the Mortis trilogy. So that's awesome. Very good. Oh, my nephew is on. Sorry, I was live. I couldn't answer you. He tried calling me earlier. I don't know if you heard the phone ring.
I heard it. Everybody heard it.
Yeah. Well, you can blame him. So when it comes up on the recording, you know who called. So
right.
Oh, this was one heck of an episode to digest. I think we walk away with more questions than we had when we started this episode. But I think we got some beautiful imagery, some great introductions. Hopefully Enoch, I believe that was the character's name.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully Enoch goes somewhere. He's not just a throwaway character. Three Geeky Dads were commenting on that. Star Wars has a bad track record of creating these visually interesting characters and then going nowhere with them. I agree with that to the extent, except that they kept throwing out Boba Fett. I love Boba Fett. Shut up. Shut up, Three Geeky Dads. But I do agree with them. Captain Phasma was visually incredible, and she went nowhere. Um,
Mhm.
there's plenty of other characters that could have been, and just So I hope Enoch goes somewhere. I'd like to see something come of him. I know he can't be like a big major, but do something with him. Just do something.
Mhm.
Don't have him be punked off, in the next episode. That's all I ask. Just like that Marak. Marak was visually interesting. We all debated whether he was Star Killer, and
Or
there's all kinds of
Ezra, or
yeah,
yeah.
Ezra. Right. I never thought he was Ezra.
I
Never.
never thought
No.
so either.
But Marak was pretty cool, and sure enough, boom, he's gone. He's just green mist. Bye.
Yeah.
Like a Sith fart in the wind. He's gone.
Right. Right.
So let's hope Enoch is not that. The Shadow Troopers, amazing looking, and I will say it all day. They remind me of the Death Troopers, and read Death Troopers, especially going into Halloween. It's a great Star Wars book if you want some good Star Wars horror. There you go.
I think even Jeff said in the comments that he thought it was a great book.
The funny thing is, I thought it would be terrible, and gosh, I can't think of the podcast. Utini was doing it. They were going to review it. So I actually went and bought it. I'm like, okay, if Utini's going to review it, I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to read it. So, and that was back when Utini was actually selling the Star Wars books, and I actually bought it from him and read it and listened to the podcast, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, wow, this is a really good book. And then I will say there is a cameo in the book, and at first, and I'm not going to give away who the cameo is, but at first I thought, oh crap, this cameo is going to ruin it, just because it's going to completely take me out of it. And actually, it enhanced it. It made it better than I thought it was going to. So I was really happy. I really, really recommend Death Troopers by Joe Schreiber, especially if you were into any kind of zombie genre stuff and you're into Star Wars. Definitely give it a call or give it a look. It's really, really good. Yeah, so and Thrawn was amazing to have him live action. I think he needs to take off a few pounds, but other than that, just incredible. Loved it. I love the intrigue of these Nightsisters, grandmothers, or not grandmothers, whatever they're called. Um, I'm wanting to know more about them. So just I think we ended up with more questions than answers in this. That's all.
And I think it was meant to be. It's the whole
Yeah,
introduction. Here he is, and then where we headed. Yeah.
right. Oh,
Yeah.
and the Chimera. The Chimera. Oh, incredible. Oh, and we got the Japanese art of how do they say it? Kintsugi, where you break a vase and then you uh, glue it
Put it
back.
back together.
You glue it back together. Well, all the gold in them is
Mm-hmm.
the Nightsisters gold, and it's the same art, And if you looked closely at the Chimera, there's a lot of
Same
gold
thing.
in the
Mm-hmm.
Chimera too. So the same
Mm-hmm.
thing had been done with the Chimera. Intriguing stuff, and I love that they're just delving into the Japanese culture, because that's something that George Lucas was really into, is
Mm-hmm.
like the whole Kurosawa thing and stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, it was the interesting thing of everything with Ahsoka has been Japanese Western. Even Ahsoka's entrance in The Mandalorian, that whole episode was a
oh
Japanese
yeah,
Western style. Even the fight with Elsbeth Morgan at the end of that episode was all samurai style stuff. And so, yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree.
agreed. Okay, and I think that's all I got to say about this episode. Wow, I
Well,
might have
all I
to go
can
take a
say is
nap.
yeah, right. I'm looking forward to the next 2 episodes,
Oh yeah.
as we finish it out, and, I'm looking forward to them.
So what do you want to see come up in the next episodes? What
I'm
are you
I
anticipating?
I don't really I am anticipating seeing Balin finding what it is that's calling to him.
Yes. Agreed.
If you ask my druthers of what it is something to do with Mortis. Uh, but I don't know what that is. And I really am just looking forward to seeing what Dave's storytelling brings.
Agreed.
Um, and then I do think Thrawn is going to get back. He's going to get, because that's what's going to set up for everything else. You know, it's his return. The Shadow Council is ready for him to return, if that makes sense, to rally all the troops together.
Well, I don't think all of them are. All of them weren't too hot and heavy about.
Well, they didn't believe it until, but I think once he returns, they're like, oh, he did return. And then, you know, just like anything, they're all going to be vying for attention and power underneath him.
Oh yeah, they're going to be the ones kissing his butt. Oh, Thrawn's back. Oh, we knew you'd come back, sir.
Right. Yeah.
Please don't kill me.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
No, I won't kill you. I will use you until you die.
Yep. Yeah.
Try to give it my best, Thrawn.
It's all good. So then those are the biggest things. I think Ahsoka will get there. You know, at this rate, with Ahsoka, I think it'll be just, they'll get back as well with the Purgles again, maybe, you know, kind of a thing. It's hard to say.
But that's another question, because he said, if you see any of those space whales, you see any Purgles, kill them. So, yeah. I mean, they may get killed off.
Yeah. I did like it where it was kind of an elephant graveyard. You know, it was the Purgle graveyard.
Oh, yeah, the rings.
It was intriguing.
That, you know, it looks like the rings of Saturn, but it was actually the whale bones of the Purgles. You know, that was wild.
That was great world building, great storytelling in that. I like that. So that's where I just see us headed. Is I don't think we'll get any big answers as far as any kind of closure to the series other than Thrawn returns. This is all about Thrawn returning and introducing one of the greatest Star Wars villains of all time. And I just think with Legends material and bringing him back or bringing him in, I think he was great in Rebels, but now to get him live action, I think is great. And I think they're gonna, for lack of a better term, they're gonna milk it. And I don't mean milk it in a negative way. I just mean hey, we've got a great villain that Timothy Zahn gave us. Let's you know, a lot of fans really enjoy this character. Let's give him. But but we got Balin Skol also, which is just such an intriguing character, and I'm looking forward to seeing kind of what happens there.
Oh yeah, I hate to admit it, but I'm actually more intrigued by Balin Skol than I am Thrawn, and I'm a huge Thrawn fan. I love
Thrawn. And those are big words coming from you.
Yeah, I want more Balin. I really do. You know, Andrew's all about Shin Hati, but I'm more about Balin. She's just the apprentice. That's all.
That's funny.
Who cares?
Right on.
I feel we've picked up another useless life form, Master.
Oh, there's a dig for you, Andrew. Just saying.
Hopefully he's listening. Anyway.
All right. Well, with that, everybody, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Two Geeks and a Microphone. Any last comments or any last thoughts, Mr. Mike?
Just looking forward to more Thrawn, looking forward to the Night Troopers or Death Troopers, whatever you want to call them.
Sure.
Can't wait to see where they go with that. And more Balin. Just give me more Balin. That's all. I want more Balin. Yeah. I want a whole Balin television series.
Right on. Well, everybody, check us out on our website. Let me get that one first. 2geeksmike.com, 2geeksmike.com. That's our hub for all our wonderful connections to our merch page, where we've got some fun t-shirts and hats and slogans and stuff. And then
save it for the podcast.
Yep. And yeah, right. And then there's our Ko-fi page, our link to our Ko-fi page, where if you want to help support us, all that money really just goes to help us with our hosting services and with our platforms in order to just communicate and enjoy talking all things geekdom. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us at an email, which is show, SHOW, at 2geeksmic.com. Number 2, GEEKSMIC.com. And so then from there, make sure you kind of say hi. Now, if you're curious, if you just want to go directly to our merch page, that's the site for our merch page, which is really hard. 2-geeks
we gotta get that down.
Yeah, we got to figure something out on that one. So we'll but anyway, but you can get to it from our website, 2geeksmike.com.
Yes.
2geeksmike.com. So, well, with that, I just want to encourage everybody. There you will also see some of our sponsors that we have. One I do want to talk about today real quick is Audible. If you like to listen to audiobooks, and especially on the go, and I have to say, some of the best audiobooks are the Star Wars audiobooks. Right? We probably should do Death Troopers. Hey, I'm going to look it up real quick. But here's the thing about Audible. You can try it out for free for 30 days. And what that means is you get one free audiobook of your choice if you've never done it. So if you go to audibletrial.com/2geeks, TWOGEEKS, you can check it out there. And we've got a guy who's been on the show, Mark Thompson, has been on with us. He actually does a lot of the narration for the Star Wars books. And I'm looking up Death Troopers to see if it's on there. And sure enough, Star Wars Legends Death Troopers is on there, narrated by Sean Keenan. 6 hours and 41 minutes. Whoa, it gets 4.5 out of 5 stars with over 5,600 ratings.
I told you it's good, man.
It's good, everybody. So you could do that one. You could choose the Death Troopers as your free Audible. If you choose to continue, it's going to be $14.99 a month, and you get one free credit towards any audiobook, but you also get access to the Audible catalog. And the Audible Plus catalog, is going to have all kinds of other ones that are just included in your membership, which are some classics and some morning rituals and all kinds of different things, which are really neat out there. If you even listen to podcasts, guess what? Podcasts are on there as well, and so is 2 Geeks and a Microphone. We are there as well. So with that being said, please check us out. If you do continue to subscribe, it does help the show. That is an affiliate sponsor here with us at 2 Geeks and a Microphone. All right, Mike, there is the commercial.
All right, now for our shameless plug. If you've made it this far, please like and subscribe to us on both Facebook and on YouTube. Make sure you give the little bell a tickle so you get all the notifications when we go live. We go live every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You do the math on the rest. I'm very active on Facebook. I'm always trying to share memes and information and stuff. Some information I share on Facebook, some of it I save for the show. It depends on whether it's juicy enough or not for the show or not. And then there's a lot of meme wars between me and 3 Geeky Dads and sometimes Nerdery and Murdery and so on and so forth. Our podcast buddies. We love those guys. Speaking of Nerdery and Murdery, they are returning to 2 Geeks and a Microphone at the end of October, and I cannot wait to have Jeff and Zig back on. They are awesome guys, and I'm looking forward to being, on their show also. And also we have Carissa Grant returning to be on our show right after Ahsoka is finished. Carissa will be on to push her latest campaign for her comic book company, Worthy Chaos. So make sure you check in for that and see what's up with Carissa lately. Other than that, I have nothing else. Do you, Stephen?
Nope, we're good, man. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Yes, thank you very much. And with that said, over and out, and may the Force be with you. Thank you for joining us today on the 2 Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
may the Force be with you.